Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel, Lifestyle with Sharon. Today I'm going to be showing you these really cute, delicious, homemade miniature loaves. I mean, homemade bread is lovely anyway, but these, oh my God, they were gorgeous. We all sat around the table afterwards and stuffed our faces with a pile of bread and butter and jam, and it was lovely. So watch the video and learn how to make these lovely miniature loaves of bread. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already. It helps the channel grow. Really appreciate it if you could subscribe and maybe hit the notification bell. That will let you know when videos come out. And like and comment. Love to hear from you. Thanks very much. Enjoy. Now this recipe you can make a large loaf, or just for a bit of fun like me, I've just found these little tiny, I don't know what you'd call them. There's a silicone little tray thing here, and I'm going to try them. They do seem very narrow, but I'm going to see what they look like. As I said, you can make a large loaf if you wanted to. For this recipe, I'm using dried yeast, so it's much simpler. So I'm going to sieve 300 grams of white flour. Now, you don't have to sieve, really. A lot of recipes don't call for sieving, but I like to do it the old-fashioned way. I've always done this, so I still sieve. Just lets you get more air into your mixture. And then I've got 100 grams of brown flour. Now you are going to be left with a few larger bits. You could just put them in. And then I've got 25 grams of butter. So I've put it into little cubes. It came straight out of the fridge, so it's nice and cold. And you're just going to rub the flour and butter together like this. So you're kind of pushing your thumb away from your body and you're pushing down into your butter. And you kind of lift it in the air as you're doing it, again to get more air. Only takes a minute, doesn't take long. So what you do is when you think you've rubbed it all in, you just shake your bowl, and you can see there's no big lumps coming up at the top. If there was still lumps of butter, they would come to the surface. So that's good to go. So I've got about 15 grams or a big pinch of salt. Got a tablespoon of sugar. And I have a packet of quick drying yeast. And I'll just mix this together. I'll just do it with my hand. You can do it with a spoon if you like. So I'm using fast action dried yeast. And it usually comes in a box. And you'll have a few packets inside. Right, now I have 320 ml of warm water, and I'm just going to slowly pour some in and start mixing with a spoon. Just add some more. The yeast works better when you've got warm water as opposed to cold, and you don't want it boiling hot either. It's starting to come together. So you can see how different this looks now. I'm just going to get some of the white flour and I'm just going to sprinkle this on my worktop. I'm going to pour this onto my floured surface, and then I'm going to knead this. So I'm just bringing it towards me and then pushing it away. It's a bit messy at the beginning, but it will come together so it's not sticking to your hands once the flour kind of comes into it. Right, so you just keep kneading. So you just keep kneading for about 10 minutes. So as you can see, I'm just pulling this towards me, and then I'm kind of pushing down and away. Now everyone's got their own technique that they do, but this is the way I do it. So bringing it up, pushing down and pushing away, and turning at the same time. Into a nice clean bowl again, we're going to put a little bit of olive oil at the bottom and around the edges. You can do this with your hand, of course, but I'm just using a pastry brush. Then I place the dough into the bowl. So we're going to put some cling film over your mixing bowl. What you want to do is put a little bit of oil on the top so that if the dough touches the top of the cling film, it won't stick to it. So it is easier to get the pastry brush. So you've got your oil on here, so you just lift it up, put it over the top of your bowl. Now this might not touch because it's a very deep bowl, but at least if it does, you've got the oil there. And you leave this to rise for 1 hour. Right, as you can see here, we're just going to take the cling film off and see how much it's risen. It was really tiny before I put it in, so an hour later that's what's happened to it. So now I'm just going to punch that bit in the middle. This is the bit I like, the fun part. And look at it, it all goes down. So then we're just going to take this out. Oh, before I take it out, hang on. So we're just going to sprinkle some flour onto our work surface again. And then we empty this onto our work surface. And then we're going to knead it well for a few more minutes. I do like kneading bread, it is lovely. Good exercise for you. And then what we're going to do is put a small amount of oil into each one of these. So I'm just going to cut a small bit. I'm going to put it into each one of these little dishes. What I might do is just kind of knead it a little bit before I put it in there. So it's in this kind of round shape, oblong shape. I'm just guessing this, or eyeballing it as some people might say. So again, we're just going to put a little bit of oil onto our cling film. You don't need loads, just a small bit, just to stop it sticking. So just bring this over. And we'll leave this in a warm place just as before. Find a nice warm place in your home. And we'll leave these for half an hour. So just taking the cling film off. And that's how they're looking at this stage. That one looks the best. I should have measured it beforehand, but I'll do this again and weigh it and let you know in the comments below, because that looks a perfect amount. But anyway, it's just trial and error. So with this one, I'm just going to put a few sesame seeds on it. Maybe on 2 of them. This one, I'm just going to put a couple of pumpkin seeds on. And these ones I'll leave plain. And on this one, I'll just put a little bit of flour on the top and see what that looks like. I'm just going to put this in the oven, gas mark 6. Now, if you're doing a big tin, it's usually about 30 minutes, so this might take a bit less, but I'll let you know. These are the lovely little miniature bread loaves. They look really lovely and cute. Right, so I'm just going to take these out. Oops, some of the seeds are falling off. See, doesn't that look really like a miniature little perfect loaf? And you can test that they're ready if you just hit it at the bottom and it makes a hollow sound. Yeah, so these are fun little miniature loaves. Now you can just cut them like a roll and cut them in half this way, but I'm going to slice it up like a loaf. So I'm going to make little slices here. You see, with the seeds, I should have put them on a bit earlier before I let it rise, and they would have stayed on. But because I kind of put them loose on the top, they're coming off. But look at that, little miniature loaf sizes. So as you can see, they're so tiny. And to give you an idea, my little pinky finger, it's about the same size as my little pinky finger. Little miniature slice of loaf. So it's just a bit of fun to do.